Hey everyone, RAR here. Today we're going to do the Week 2 recap for the REBBL REL Season 11 Division 5G. I'm going to bring in my friend here who's willing enough to let me use his recording equipment. Goes by the gamertag Style with an I. My recap shows an alliteration and my name is a palindrome. I use all these literary figures and he can't spell. So he's gonna come in, he's gonna ask some questions. Basically a complete noob to Blood Bowl, and just maybe bring a unique perspective to the recording here. So, what I'd like to start with is a recap of week 2. I would do a preview of week 3, but much to my dismay, 4 of the 5 games have already been played. But I got something for you guys next week. Since the week rolls on Wednesday, I'm gonna tap my head here and be real smart and record the show on Tuesday. Who would have thought about that? But all right, we'll jump right in here. So first match, Gorks of the Jungle versus another Bloody Bell. So this is Orcs versus Skaven. It's a 1-1 tie. So doesn't look like the Rat team did a lot of blocking, right? Because we only have 2 armor breaks here. But one of the things that stands out to me immediately is 2 deaths. That is a beast. That's tough to deal with. So let's look at the blocking dice here. So the Orcs threw 44 successful blocks, right? Had 5 KOs, 2 injuries, 1 kill inflicted. So maybe that that death was probably on a failed dodge, or maybe a failed go for it, which is even worse. So it wasn't even your opponent's dice; it was a failed roll. That's what I'm guessing anyway. I'll take a peek at the SPPs here, and we have a good spread here for the Orc team, and it looks like pass, an MVP, and a touchdown on the Skaven side. So sustaining 2 deaths, still coming away with a tie. I think that's a strong showing, and it was a pretty even matchup. So good to see that result there. All right, so next match here we have Danny's DeVitos versus New Gender Norse. This is the Amazon team versus the fan favorite Goblin team, and this is a 2-0 victory for the Norse. I mean, this is a pretty common result. Norse are the Amazons. You fooled me with the name there, but the Amazons are strong starting team. This is the world champion that's playing them, and then of course you have the Goblins, which are considered a air quotes fun team. So 10 armor breaks versus 7 and an expulsion. So obviously some fouling going on. Your chainsaw got the MVP, and 45 successful blocks. Okay, so the Goblins did do a lot of blocking too, though. 40 blocks, probably a lot of pushes in there. 3 KOs, 2 injuries on the Amazon side, and a lot of punching going on. We'll have to look and see where these CAS come from. These are obviously casualties. 8-star player points, like that. Like to see where that development happened. It's probably a level up. But 2-0 victory there for the Amazon team. Alright, my personal favorite dad joke here. Toucan play at that versus the Ballin' Dinos. So Kemri versus Lizardmen. And let's see the result here. 2-1 for Kemri. So this Kemri team had really strong development for its first couple matches. First match, honestly, it had a level up on my favorite player. Everyone made fun of me for, basically going nuts over him. But I would actually say that this is probably a tough matchup for the Lizardman, because you're out strength, so your true advantage goes away because of the strength 5 pieces, and you have the Blitz Raws with block just smashing down skinks, and that kind of seems what might have happened here. 37 blocks versus 24, so with 2 sort of bash teams not really bashing each other, but really the thing that jumps out, 5 injuries inflicted. Oof.
Ball possession is what sticks out to me.
You think so?
Yeah.
So 81% ball possession. So that's pretty wild. So you're looking at what, like 13 of the 16 turns the ball's in the Khemri possession, the Khemri player's possession. So the Lizardman player just trying to fight off the touchdown scoring and ended up in the end zone twice anyway. All right, now we're going to the Mutant Ninja Leapers versus the Warp Stone Rock and Roll. This is Kislev Circus versus the Underworld Squad. Ended in a 1-1 tie. 9 armor breaks versus 10 armor breaks, so pretty even there in the bash match.
2 expulsions.
2 expulsions, getting that fouling in. So Underworld's a team that kind of needs to foul, right, to get removals, because you have stunty players on your team, guys that leave the pitch real easy. I'm rooting for this Kislev team only because I don't really know much about them, but 40 blocks to 40 blocks, 5 KOs to 4 KOs, 1 injury to 1 injury. So pretty even matchup, not surprisingly.
Looks like it'd have been a good game to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Not surprisingly, ended in a tie. All right. In league play, ties, aren't necessarily a bad thing because you got star player points. You're still gaining points for the leaderboard, albeit less than a win. And it keeps your record solid. All right, so Paranoid Puppies versus Peak Altitude. So it's our Necromantic squad versus the Lone Elf team. Ended in a 1-0 victory for the Necro team. And I mean, right here, right on the main screen, 15 armor breaks. That's probably where the victory really was pulled away from the Elf squad. With Agility 4, you can make magic happen. And I see 4 passes on the Peak Altitude side. They could have just been vanity passes at the end of the game, but what really stinks here is that your Strength 2 damaged lineman ate the MVP.
Wow.
Oops.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, 4 passes, 4 successful catches, 40 blocks, resulting in 39 blocks. Yeah, 39 blocks, 3 KOs, 1 injury, 1 kill. And then, it looks like the blocking matchups were pretty even. Just when a lot of elves are stunned from all those armor breaks, I guess you can't really do much. You can't position your players. Let's check the SPP real quick and see. All right, so you got a good even spread, even though you took a loss for the elf squad here. You got the MVP unfortunately fell on a stat busted piece, but you got 2 casualties on 2 different players. You got a touchdown, a pass, and then on the Necro side, it looks like Bad Dog, I think, is pretty close to a level. If I think this was completed during the last recap, and I think he did level. So, all right, so that wraps up the review of last week. Now I would preview next week, but as you can see right here, there's only 1 game left, and next week I'm gonna get you guys though. But let's look at the teams real quick. We'll see if there's any development, even with that additional game, and see where everyone's teams are headed. All right, so this is Danny DeVito. This is the Goblin squad. The quote-unquote fun team. Doesn't look like there's any new development. Lost a Goblin. Yeah, this team's pretty static. You got a Troll that's... I would imagine you make a lot of blocks with this Troll, because he's got 25 star player points, and you have, 6 games? 7 games? Yeah, 7 games. So I'd like to see him get block on his next level and really start to smash people. Personally, I love that Goblins cause mayhem, and I love that you got a win in league play too. The Agility 4 stunty piece is obviously great, but we talked about this team in week 1. It hasn't really changed much outside of losing Goblins. Let's go to Gorks of the Jungle, whose match ended in a tie for week 2, and see how he's faring with his level ups here. Now, if I remember correctly, this is my buddy Styles' favorite squad here. Like some greenskins.
Mm-hmm.
So
I relate to him.
You're big and green.
Big and green.
Absolutely.
They spell like I do.
So we got a move busted blitzer here. I mean that jumps out. You got a development on Black Orcs. Doesn't look like no other development though. That's pretty surprising. Did you play your third match yet? So you're 2 matches in. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, really, you're looking to get this Cunning Leopard a second touchdown to get you the first level there. Maybe get Mighty Blow. Tackle might not be that bad for this division. And then obviously, Brutal Jumbly here needs some love. 1 more Kaz, maybe hit an MVP, get a level, get another block Black Orc. I mean, again, first season, rookie division. Shoot for development. Alright, New Gender Norse. This is the Amazon squad whose names confuse me, so maybe that was the purpose. Obviously, as an AV7 team, you're going to take some damage. It's inevitable. But it's really about keeping the positionals, in my opinion, as strong as possible. So he's only got to miss next game on that catcher there, who has an MVP. And then his thrower is armor busted. Maybe you replace that, maybe not. You got your 3 rear rolls and apothecary, so you could probably save up for another thrower. But what I like to see here is his blitzers with development. Got a Mighty Blow piece, 1 Kaz away from moving up to a second level here. Got a guard piece, which is going to be really important for this division as we progress through the matchups, especially on a strength majority strength 3 team. Well, entirely strength 3 team, I guess is the way to say it. All right. Let's go to Skaven here, another Bloody Bell. So we know this team took damage.
Wow.
What was that 3, 7, 8 players? Oof. So 2 games in, possibly 3. If you played your third matchup, you did. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough. Although your gutter runners are still alive, and 2 of them have development. No doubles, unfortunately, but again, like, gutter runners can pretty much score whenever they want. Like to see some touchdowns on these storm vermin. Man, this would be tough. I mean, I said it in the week 1 video. Even though you're getting beat up and development's not going that great, I stuck it out with my team, and it ended up all right for season 2. I would just see where this takes you. Alright, 2 can't play at that. This is the team. This is the squad who has my favorite player on it. He has played his week 3. So I remember talking in the Discord channel about Smashing Toucan, my favorite player, rolling an agility increase that Hindi decided to go against and go with piling on. And after the week 2 games, he was at 20 star player points, and now he's at 24. So you know what that means? It means you got 2 more Kaz, and this guy is just amazing. But so I don't get made fun of again. That's the last we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Punching Toucan this time, who has a movement increase. And is, 3 touchdowns here away from going up to another level. All of a sudden becomes a strong ball carrier on a relatively slow team. And really, you don't need much else. Maybe add another skeleton. You just start fouling people. Keep the money to replace the Tomb Guardian if something bad happens. And, keep development going. All right.
I like his naming convention.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a sucker for dad jokes, and how do you not like that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mutant Ninja Leapers. Let's see how their development's going. So still the same as last week, but we got a ton of people ready to level here. So we got, 4 people at 5? couple passes, maybe some vanity passes at the beginning of your next match. Try to get these guys levels. Obviously with the focus being on the blitzers, 2 touchdowns for the catchers, another level. Becomes a star player. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes, right? So you got an Armor 8 squad. It's relatively healthy, 4 team rerolls, and a solid bank already. Keep this team alive, and you played your week 3. I mean, you're still technically undefeated here, scoring a touchdown a game. So I think we're gonna have to watch one of these games here from this Kislev coach, just because I'd like to see him play. All right, Gerzoot, Paranoid Puppies, Necro team. We're going to pop in here. Ooh, a movement down on a white. Wow, look at this werewolf already. 2 skills, block dodge, no doubles, and as I suspected in my week 1, 12th man, rather than replace the ghoul that died, we added a werewolf, which I think is absolutely correct. You want to really flesh out these werewolves as fast as possible. The strongest player, the fastest on your team, access to good skills. If you roll a double, all of a sudden they're scary. One of the scariest pieces in the game.
So why is he building that one up there that way?
So the first 2 skills that he got, he rolled normals, right? So he didn't roll anything special. And obviously taking block and dodge makes him extremely protected, a little bit more mobile, and with the combo of block and claw, people that are armor 8 or higher with no skills are very likely to be knocked down and had their armor broken. So he's protecting himself, making himself more mobile because he's a fast player, and doing a little bit of everything. So I think it's important to mention, I guess, that the Necro squad is really like a hybrid team because you have fast players and slow players. But most of the team is really designed to punch up the field, whereas the werewolves are really your positional pieces. So that's that's what I would take on 2 normals. I think that's the strongest play. Especially not rolling doubles because you don't have access to anything like Mighty Blow or Guard at that point because you need doubles to roll them. All right, peak altitude. So, beat up team, beat up elf squad.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7 players out of 11, and you did not play your week 2. I think you're one of the squads that did not. So you took 2 losses, no big deal. Doesn't look like you scored any touchdowns yet. Also no big deal. Touchdowns will come. So for me, for this squad, I think the number 1 priority is to get a blitzer back and really push the action. Maybe go on offense first if you win the toss, and try to get some star player points, get some level ups on people. Really, you just gotta just go into full recovery mode. Doesn't matter how the wins play out, because obviously as an elf squad, you just never know what could happen. You can end this. You could take 2 losses at the beginning, win 4 in a row, just because you have agility 4 and you can move around the pitch better than the other teams in this division. But focus on the blitzer you have, and try to get another one, and go full recovery mode here. Protect the important players, and just let the linemen do what linemen do and get punched. Man, that's a rough start. I feel for you, buddy. This is where I was at last season, and again, you can certainly recover from this. A couple good winnings rolls, and you'll be all right. All right, Warpstone and Rock and Roll. So surprisingly, this team with stunty players on it is not beat up. It's fully armor 7, except for the Skaven Blitzers and the Warpstone Troll here. And Warpstone Trolls miss next game. I'm really I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm surprised that the second skill on this Skaven Blitzer was not Claw to get that dreaded combo, but I actually like the tackle pick here. Because again, you have goblins in this division, you have Skaven in this division, you have lizardmen in this division. You're looking at Amazons in this division, and now all of a sudden, this Skaven Blitzer is super dangerous. I wonder what you're gonna do with the rest of the Skaven teams here, the Skaven players on this team, though. I've seen a lot of people just go full mutations on them. I'm interested to see how this plays out. So you're 1-1-1, so you played your week 3 already, because you guys are super excited about the season, which I can appreciate. You got a solid bankroll here, 170K. I mean, I think it's worth looking at. Maybe adding another goblin, another underworld goblin there. Get some foul action going.
Is it ever worth it to put points into your assistants or your cheerleaders or anything like that?
I mean, me personally, I don't think those are valuable, because really they're just affecting kickoff events. But you know, on a squad like this, like maybe you just want to make sure you always get the kickoff event rerolls. Me personally, I don't ever take them. I don't think they're worth it. It's just adds to your team value. But again, this is league play, so it's a little bit different. You don't have to be as TV efficient, as team value efficient. But I don't think in this particular case you would. You'd probably burn them though. You'd probably add 2 coach assistants and then immediately fire them, just to get to 150 because of the way this system works. All right, last but not least, Ball and Dinos, Lizardman squad. He had some damage. I remember looking at this team. So he's got a movement busted Saurus. Looks like you're back at 6 Saurus already, but you lost a Skink. You are 1-1-1. So that's a pretty good start for a Lizardman squad. You got some good casualty spread amongst your Saurus. You got 1 Skink ready to level. I mean, really here, it's all about getting levels on the strength 4 pieces on the Saurus. Kraxagor not so much, just as he naturally levels. Me personally, when I play Lizardman, I kind of just leave him in the center of the pitch unless absolutely necessary. Just kind of use him as a pillar. I might consider, maybe after the next game, I might consider changing this Saurus out with the move bust. But I think number 1 priority is probably to get an apothecary here because you don't have one yet. But to each their own. I mean, you're risking Saurus not having an apothecary, but then again, you can have one and it could just end up poorly anyway. But I'd probably just let the loner Skink in for next game and try to get a touchdown here. Maybe do some handoffs to my Saurus and get some star player points. Really, that's what this team's all about. I'm sure you know that, my friend. And 1-1-1's a good start. All right, now this would be the part of the show where we would normally preview next week. But as you can see, these guys are so excited about playing these games. We're a day behind, and that's unfortunately too slow to preview. So I think maybe we'll look at specific players' individual stats here real quick, and then button this up. So let's review that Amazon. Let's see where she's at. So 3 matches, she's 5 casualties inflicted, so that's really strong. Just punching people with this blitzer. She's only been hit back. Has she been? She looks like she's been had her armor broken at least once in every game. One KO. That's all. Hasn't been Kaz yet though. Curious to see where she'll go with this. So it's pretty strong already that you're ready for a second level on just casualties. All right, let's go back and look at my personal favorite player. See how he's leveling. We obviously know he's moving right up to another level. I mean, I guess in this division you probably go tackle after you hit that level. Smashing Toucan, doing a lot of smashing in this division. 8 casualties inflicted already over the course of the first 3 games. It's amazing.
That's your favorite player.
That's my favorite player. I mean, like when you're ready for your 3rd skill, and you could get it in your 4th game. That's quite the feat. You have to really be focused. He's pretty much blitzing, in my opinion, with this piece every turn to try to just really rack up the casualties. Could hurt him in the long run, though, right? Because you're not making hits with the Tomb Guardians, which is really what this team is all about. The 4 pieces with Strength 5. Who else had development? So we had our Boran, the Mutant Ninja Leapers here. That was a couple touchdowns away. Let's see. So he scored 3 touchdowns, probably won a game. Had some good passes, made a catch. Looks like he's pretty much the ball carrier for this squad with 160 yards running. And he's been hit 10 times. So that's pretty good for an armor 7 piece to be hit 10 times and only have been removed from the field once and armor broken twice. Well, maybe this is your star player, right? Alright, so those would be the three that we feature here so we don't run too long on this video. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll get more interactions here from Style when I give him some scripts for next week.
Yeah.
And we'll I wish you the best in week 4, and we're gonna do our recap show I think on Tuesday next week so that we can actually preview the next week and make some predictions so we can talk about how bad we are at predicting Blood Bowl, and everything we say is basically just mediocre. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.